They just know how to push your buttons. When dealing with difficult people, they just know the right things to say. They just know how to get to you. We all know them. We all have them in our life. I certainly do. I have them in my family, in my life. I'm sure you do. That they just know the right things to say, when to say it, that just get under your skin. And I'm going to share what realization helped me the most with this type of situation, because we certainly don't want to give them the reaction that they want, right? We don't want to let it ruin our day. Before I get into that, I want to validate your feelings, that it can be so frustrating. It can be so draining and irritating having these people constantly just get under our skin. Just, right? Because they know what they're doing. And I think sometimes they're doing it for a living. I don't know. They're getting paid or something, because it's just, they just keep at it. They're so persistent. And if we don't understand that we can manage our reaction around this, we can really let it ruin our day. And you're not the only one. This is difficult for many people. It was difficult for me, for sure. At one time, I am much better at handling it now than I ever was before, but it's mostly because of this one realization that I'm about to share. And I'm saying difficult people, and it doesn't really matter if it's just someone that is a manipulator, just someone that thinks it's fun, or if it's more serious, like a narcissist, an abuser, that type of thing, toxic person. I feel like this can help no matter what type of difficult person, right? Because there are different types of difficult people, different dynamics, that type of thing. But this was huge. This was huge. And a lot of the times we spend so much energy trying to either get back at them or avoid them. I know there were times I would just expend so much energy trying to figure out how to avoid this person or situation, instead of just knowing how to manage my thoughts around it, my mind around it. That was draining in and of itself. And then when we try to go toe to toe with them, or we try to get back at them, right? Or do what they're doing to us, it typically backfires, because they are just so good at pushing our buttons. And if you're like me, and that's just not your typical nature, then I know you know what I mean, where you're just giving all this energy and it just usually backfires and either makes you feel worse or doesn't do anything but make them come back at you even harder, right? And push your buttons even more, because it's like a game or something. But yeah, just finding a way to not have to waste so much of your energy to keep some of your peace. Okay. So for me, the biggest thing when dealing with difficult people was understanding that it's never personal. Never. It's never about us. Even if they say it's about us, even if they're directing something specifically at us, it's never personal. Hear me out. Listen. Hurt people hurt people. Think about that. Hear that. Let that sink in for a second. Hurt people hurt people. Okay? So when someone is so negative and lashing out so much, it's almost like a cry for help in a way. Think about how much pain they would need to be going through to be so negative, and how, if you're healthy, that's not your natural impulse. When we're healthy, we are not trying to go around and upset people and put people down. That's just not what we do. And if you can understand that on a really deep level, it really helps. It's not meant to excuse what they're doing. What they're doing is not right. You know, going around trying to upset you, trying to get a reaction out of you, trying to, hurt you on a level, or whatever the situation looks like, just being difficult. is never okay. But if you can have a little bit of compassion from and just understanding that they might just be really unaware and they really just don't know probably how to deal. There's probably a lot of insecurities, probably a lot of pain, whether it's from childhood or recent, it doesn't really matter, right? Somebody that's acting like that, that's trying to purposely get reactions out of you, whether they're narcissistic or whatever it is, it's still coming from a place of unhealthiness, unhappiness, trauma, depression, whatever, right? It's coming from their own stuff. It's never about you directly. They might be targeting you. They might even be saying it's you. I know for me, I remember when I really realized this and when I was really actually able to apply it. I had a coworker that I worked with for years, and I realized I wasn't the only one, but it seemed to me at the time that it was just always me. I mean, every day he would, I'd make one little it might be when I would make like a minor mistake, but I'm talking like very little thing, like write, a number that wasn't very legible, whatever, like something very small, would make him just go crazy. He would tell me I couldn't do my job, tell me, I'm worthless, like really kind of, verbally abusive. And I'm talking yelling, and I'm talking very minor things. Or if I just wasn't moving as fast as he thought I should be, even though, we were equals. It wasn't like, it wasn't, just very petty, very, very petty things. And I remember I just started realizing that when I looked back and I saw him in his life and I saw he just really wasn't happy. A lot of depression, just really not happy. And I won't get into all of that, but one day because I used to be reactive to him, I would feed into it. I would snap back at him, or I would, should defend myself or whatever that looked like in the time. One day when I realized that it didn't have anything to do with me. He was so miserable, honestly, in his own life that it was like it almost just made him feel better to put somebody else down, to try to make someone else just as miserable as him. And I realized I wasn't the only one that he would do that to. One day I stopped reacting. And I honestly, when he would say those snarky, rude comments or yell in front of people, try to embarrass me, whatever it was, I remember, I'll never forget this, because I just didn't even acknowledge what he said. He was going off trying to embarrass me, making a scene. I didn't give him the time of day. I didn't say anything. And I just kept doing what I was doing because I knew what I should be doing. And that made him really, really, really angry that day. But I didn't engage. I just disengaged. And then later at some point, he had said something else, or maybe it was the next day or whatever. And I just didn't engage. And all I said was, I'm sorry that you feel that way, or whatever it was. Like I just said something really neutral and simple, and I just kept going about my day. Basically, I just stopped reacting. I stopped feeding into him completely, and I kept my peace because I realized it wasn't about me. It wasn't personal. I really wasn't doing all of this stuff. I was worthy of my job. I did deserve to be, like, all of these things. Like, it wasn't, all of those personal attacks he threw at me were not true. And I knew that, but I couldn't understand why somebody would be so mean and everything. But when I realized it wasn't about me and I literally just stopped engaging, he stopped. He got, in a sense, he kind of got bored with it, right? I wasn't giving him what he wanted. Eventually, I think kind of a little bit of respect for me, because I didn't give him my energy anymore. It wasn't about me. So I didn't engage. I would let him do whatever he was doing and I would just walk away. It wasn't worth it. And not walking away, walking away out of, it wasn't out of just being intimidated by him or anything like that. It really came from a place of, it just wasn't worth my energy because it didn't have anything to do with me. And that was just who he was. And it wouldn't have mattered if it was me or if it was the next person. He just needed to project. Sometimes, it's more of a projection onto others, right? Somebody's issues, they will just try to get, because they do not know how to manage their own emotions or minds, they will just project them onto somebody else and try to put their problems on somebody else by making them unhappy or upset. And then they almost get some kind of satisfaction from getting a reaction back. And when you can really understand that that's kind of what they're looking for, and that's kind of what's keeping it going, and you can disengage and keep your peace and understand it doesn't have anything to do with you, and that hurt people, he was hurt. He just wanted to hurt somebody else, and I was just, in a sense, I was an easy target because I would feed into it until I didn't. Until I realized, and it really came from a genuinely authentic place, because I just really didn't want to give him that kind of power anymore over me, because it wasn't about me. It wasn't personal. It is never personal. It's never. Healthy people, secure people, confident, happy people want to see other people succeed. They want, good things to happen. They don't want to hurt other people. So they don't. And yeah, that really made all the difference for me. And I really think that if you guys can integrate that and then kind of apply that with the difficult people that you live with, that you deal with within your life, I really think that you'll start to see that. And if you just take a step back and really observe them a little bit and just kind of slow down and pull your energy back, and protect your peace with it and understand it's not about you, I really think that it will help you as profoundly as it helped me. And you won't drain your energy avoiding these people and trying to get back at them and trying to make them understand what they're doing or whatever it is. Don't waste your time. You don't have to. It's not about, you can if you want, right? But you don't necessarily need to. It's not about you. All right. I hope that was helpful. Leave any comments or anything. Share, like, subscribe, all the things. And I hope you guys have a great day. And I will see you next time. Bye.